Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Allie G show for track 24. I hope your week is off to a great start. I am so pumped for today's episode, which features none other than Craig Segal, fellow runner and owner of the Outpost Running and Walking Co. in Little Silver, New Jersey. It's a great store. You have to check out the space if you're in the area. You can go before your run. You can go post-run like I do when you're all sweaty and gross. And then you buy new shirts and fun shoes and all the good things. But no, in all seriousness, Craig and I talked about everything, including his early days in running, with Craig sharing high school and college running memories and how his passion for running eventually turned into creating a space for runners of all levels at the Outpost. I cannot wait for you to hear more. I am sitting here with Craig Segal of the Outpost Running in Little Silver, New Jersey. Everybody gives me shit for living in New Jersey and loving New Jersey, so I am so happy you're here, Craig. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Let's
you so
amp
much
up
for
New
having me.
Jersey and the
Oh, no.
Outpost
I mean,
and you.
no, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for the support, over the last year or so with opening up the new shop and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for being here. To kick it off, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, like who you are, what you do, where you're from, all
Oh,
the good
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, who am I? Where do I start? No, I'm not that deep of a person, to be honest with you. But yeah, so as Allie said, I am a very passionate Jerseyan, I think, as much as much as anybody. Yeah, so I grew up in Homedale, New Jersey, which is kind of right in central Jersey. And it does exist for those that argue that it doesn't exist. Those that live there know that it exists. But yeah, I really grew up with running kind of in my veins. Literally, when I was in about sixth grade or so. I know we're going way back. We're blowing off the history books here, but I moved to a house that backed up to Homedale Park, and so literally from my bedroom I could see the starting line of the state cross country course in New Jersey.
Love it.
And it's a historic course. Anybody that has run in New Jersey obviously knows it. Anybody that has run at that collegiate level, I think we, from as New Jerseyans, kind of brag about that course. Maybe a little bit too much. It could be argued, but it is kind of infamous. So yeah, I mean, I grew up right across, literally the backyard was Homedale Park. So I wasn't super passionate about it when I was younger. I started to kind of get into it as my father. I can always tell the story because he's probably of the age that I am now when he first started getting into running. I think what happens is sometimes when student athletes are into it, they're always like, oh, your parents were into it, or but he picked it up later in life, more from like a health perspective. So I'm 41 now. He was about the same age, I think, that I am now when he first started. And honestly, he just started seeing friends of his, and I think as we kind of get into the midlife crisis zone, people can go a couple different ways. And I think he saw friends that weren't doing so well from a health perspective, and that kind of motivated him to get into running. And then from there, he kind of dragged me along, but not in a competitive way or anything like that, more of just a voluntary way. And then kind of fast forward a couple of years, I really fell in love with it in high school. And I think that's when most of us kind of fall in love with the sport, those that have competed in high school and college. And I'd say I ran some pretty decent races and got myself into a pretty decent program at Villanova, and wasn't top dog or anything like that. I was just happy to have a singlet and happy to race as a Wildcat. And and then post collegiately just kind of took to the roads and like pretty much destroyed my body over the however many years after that, for maybe a good decade. And now I just kind of run to enjoy it. And it's kind of just just something that keeps me going, gets me up every morning, even though it's not something that I'm racing or being super serious about. So that kind of brings you up from when I was in sixth grade up until about 41. So I guess podcast over at this point. We're 3.5 minutes
Should
in.
we just hang up?
It's good. Yeah. I mean, that was,
You just gave me the full rundown. I love that. What an intro. I love it, Craig. That's so cool. Well, now I have to ask all my follow-up questions because you gave us the real deal right up front. But was there anything other than like your dad? Was there something specific about running at that young age that kind of motivated you to keep going?
Yeah, I think honestly, I mean, I did not necessarily like hit it out of the park when I started high school, right? Like I came in and I think I know my freshman PR was 5:14 for the 1600, which like is like no one is going to look at a kid running 5:14 as a freshman and be like, oh yeah, he's going to go on and you know win the state, in 4 years and go on and compete collegiately. But I think honestly at that age, it's like a very transformative age, so
Mhm.
you're starting to kind of figure out your identity. And I think for me, like that transition from like freshman to sophomore year, I started seeing some success, and ultimately dropping 45 seconds from freshman to sophomore year, you start to see and you start to taste that success, and it starts to become maybe, I don't look at it, I didn't look at it back then as like addictive, but I think now
Mhm.
looking back at it as an adult, it was like, oh wow, like this is something that like I really identify with, and people identify me with it. Even to this day, obviously, like my profession, I kind of can't get away from it. So,
Yeah.
but that's the life I chose. So I think the kind of the more that you succeed at it, kind of, and this is no shot at anybody that ran in high school or college, but like I think we all are kind of like a little bit dorky to some extent, like just
Mhm.
generally as naturally as runners. So
Absolutely.
you're starting to then kind of get attention or get notoriety, and you're like, wow, this is kind of cool. So I think that kind of also like once you kind of start to taste that success, then you ultimately then you're like you're buying into it, and you're doing all the little things that are going to kind of help you even succeed more down the road. So yeah,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
absolutely. Did you put
Mm.
pressure on yourself back then when you started seeing that success? Were you like, "Oh, there's a little bit of added pressure," or were you able to stay away from, putting that pressure on yourself and just kinda let it rock?
Yeah, I think in high school specifically, especially back then, I mean, we're talking, over 20 years ago, that it was more so about racing,
Mhm.
right? Like I love, the information that we receive now almost instantaneous, right? And I love like the mile splits of the world and things like that. I think they're great for the
Yeah.
sport, but there's also something to be said about like just going out and trying to win a race, and the
Mhm.
time kind of takes care of itself. So I think for me, like that was super important. I think, I didn't really put a ton of pressure on myself because I don't know. I mean, I hate to like play the underdog kind of role. I feel like that's kind of like played out a little bit, but I think from a running perspective, like I was never the most talented. Like I just ran a lot,
Mhm.
and that kind of got me better and got me to where I needed to go. I think I probably felt more pressure, like or self-induced pressure collegiately, because
Mhm.
then that's when you go from being like a big fish in a small pond to really, I mean, you're just kind of competing just to even be on the team and get like a spot on the line, right? So
Right.
I think it's a very different type of pressure, but I think that's probably where I felt it personally more. And then when you start to get in like that hyper competitive state, then it kind of just leads on to post collegiate, and that's all self induced, right? I mean,
Totally.
like no one cares if you run a step after college. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
like, so that's all self-induced. But
For
yeah, I
sure.
think like as a younger student athlete, I was kind of good in compartmentalizing that and just kind of being like, now, like if I'm going to go and like win a race, like naturally you're going to run fast. Where I feel like
Mhm.
fast forward now 20, 25 years, it's like, it's a lot of it's about times and being recruited and all sorts of that. And there needs to be this number next to your name. And like honestly, I kind of like sympathize with a lot of the student athletes now that are kind of coming up because it's way more under a microscope and like way more
Mhm.
competitive, especially now than it ever has been. I think it's all relative, but yeah, I mean, like I joke around with buddies now, like we wouldn't even made it out of like the first round of states or something like that with times that we were winning things in back then. But it just kind of is what it is. It's kind of a product of our era.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely evolved. I mean, even in like the few short years I've been in it. Not that I'm
Hmm.
I'm like super competitive or anything. I'm just competitive with myself and
Hmm.
doing races like in this area, New York, whatever. But Villanova has such a rich running history. Did that part of your running career give you a different mindset going into adulthood or like post undergrad?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're in it, it's really hard because you're just like you're just kind of like fighting for a spot, right? And I
Right,
think that
right,
that's at
right.
most programs and universities. Like that's not like just like a Villanova thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I think now, like looking back on it, it's like for me, like the big reason why I went to Nova was because of our coach there. So Marcus O'Sullivan, who he's been there. I mean, it's 2025 right now, right? I'm right. It's my brain is so scrambled. Like I'm writing product orders for 2026 right now.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm like, I think I'm next
I
year,
get it.
but and he got there a little bit before I got there. So he's probably been there 25, 26 years or something like that. But
Yeah.
he himself was a four-time Olympian for Ireland, ran under 4 minutes for the mile 101 times, like six-time
Wow.
Wanamaker mile winner at Millrose, like just absolute legendary guy. And like getting the opportunity to work with him was like anything beyond my wildest dreams.
Mhm.
And obviously, like when when you're racing and you're in this competitive state, it's just like you want to get fast, you want to get fast. But now, like as an adult, like taking a look back on it, like I just appreciate like how much of an impact like he had on me and my teammates, like as a person.
Hmm.
And again, when you're 18 to 22, like you may be able to understand that just a little bit, but now like looking back at it, 15, 20 years down the line, it's like, all right, like I understand like he was molding us to be, good humans.
Hmm.
Ultimately. I think it was a great experience. And I even I when I graduated, I actually had a year of eligibility, and I came back home and I ran for Monmouth for a year
Oh,
as a
wow. Okay.
graduate student. So that was a cool experience too. It was these two different kind of different dynamics on the teams and things like that. So it was good to experience it.
Hmm.
Um, but but yeah, running in college was a great experience. So wouldn't trade
No,
it for the
that's
world.
super cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. And I think having that type of coach to kind of help shape your running career, even if it's not going to turn into anything like post grad, I think
Hmm.
is super important. It's something that a lot of people don't typically find. I feel like you either like
Right.
click with your coach or you don't, or you click with a group and you don't. So I think that's really cool that you had that. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, between Marcus and then Joe Compagni, who he was my mom. He was the coach at Monmouth when I was there. He's since retired. He retired in 2019, and he does a lot of the local races now. He helps us put on Monmouth Mile. He does a lot with Short AC.
Hmm.
I've always joked with like everybody that like if you have a problem with like Coach Joe or even Marcus, for example, it's like chances are like you're the problem.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
you.
mean? So yeah, it's
Yeah.
you. It's not them. But yeah, like super influential and again, like kind of we're molding us to be good humans. I think at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really special. And again, something a lot of people don't get to
Hmm.
have. What events did you compete in? Or
Yeah.
what
So
were
I
your
was
favorites? Favorites
yeah.
and least favorites?
Favorites and least favorites? Oh my god. I was definitely kind of one of those dudes that the longer the better for me.
Mhm,
So, I mean, I was more like 5K, 10K on the track,
mhm.
outdoors, and then indoors it was, 3K, 5K, and then there would be a couple seasons where I would just be like bombing every long race. So like Marcus would just throw me into like a 1500. So I would
Mhm.
say like those were probably the hardest for like the 800s and the 1500s, just because like
Yeah.
I was not built for that. But at least it was over quick. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like if you blow up, you run 4 minutes for the 1500, not 34 minutes for the 10K. So
Yeah.
it could have also been like a situation where he just didn't want to watch me implode for that long. And if I imploded,
Yeah.
it was only like an extra 10 seconds as opposed to an extra couple minutes. So,
No, for
uh,
sure. Hey,
yeah,
props to you. I don't think I could ever run a 10K on a track. I think that would just simply kill me.
it's
It's
it's one of those
it's a
things
long
where
time.
when it goes really well, it's awesome. When it goes
Yeah.
really bad, it goes really bad. Like
I mean,
it's
you're just
it's
like
you're out
plugging
there
along.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've had like one or two really good ones and like one or two really bad ones,
Mhm.
and then kind of everything in between. But yeah, when it goes well, like it's very like methodical. Like it's very
Mhm.
like you're just clicking off split after split after split. And but yeah, when it goes bad and teammates and coaches stop yelling your splits, like
Like it's
you're in for a long day at the office.
yeah.
So
Oh man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, but I mean, I'm with you on the I think I mean, I shouldn't say that because both of them sound like pretty horrible. Like an 800 on the track, I feel
Oh
like is
yeah,
also mentally like it's quick, right?
yeah.
But it could go really south really
Oh,
fast.
that last 150, there's nothing
It's
else in the
yeah.
world that you can really compare it to.
I
It's like
mean,
you're like trying to swim through battery acid, it's
yeah, it's
just like it
horrible.
yeah, yeah,
It's
it's brutal.
horrible. It's
Absolutely brutal.
crazy. So
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have a race or an event that was most memorable? Could be at any point,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I think,
I feel like you've done so much. That's such a hard question. I'm sorry.
no, no, I think it's almost like in like phases. Like collegiately, I think like the most memorable race was that I had was when I ran my PR in the 5K, which again, 14:35 like to today's standards is
It's
literally like
amazing. I mean,
it's like yeah, but that's like really back of the pack college right now. So
yeah.
it's a different era. But again, was mediocre back then is even more mediocre now. No offense to anybody that's running that. We love you, but it's hard to watch when guys are running like 13:10 in college and you're like, "Oh my god, this is insanity."
I know.
But this was I think my junior year in college. I had some really rough races and I get done running the Big East 10K, and this was when Rutgers was in the Big East, so we were actually in New Jersey, and my family was
Mhm.
there. All this, I had a terrible, terrible race, and I go up to Marcus after, and I'm just like, I'm done, and he's like, "You're quitting the team?" Like jokingly, knowing that like
Yeah.
that wasn't what I was saying, and I was like, "No, no, no." I was like, "I'm done with the season. Like I'm just so frustrated. I'm so tired. Everything like that." And he's like, "Just give it a couple days. Like relax. Like you're fine." So like a week goes by, he has me do this workout, and he has me do 1,000 and then a
Mhm.
400, and so I get done with that, and I'm like, what the hell was that? Like that's a weird thing to do.
Mhm.
And
Did he give you a time, like a time frame
no,
to
he's
do it
like,
in,
just
or he was just like, "Just do it"?
do it. And we did one repeat. We did 1,000 and then a 400.
Okay.
And then so I get done with that, and I was confused. He's like, all right, go do another four. So we did like, basically 5 by 1K 400. And I
Mhm.
get done. I'm like, what was that? And he's like, oh, well, he's like, I have you entered in IC4As, which is like another race in the
Mhm.
10K in like 2 days. He goes, if you looked good, he's like, I was gonna have you race that. He goes, but you look like shit, so we're not gonna race that. And I was like, okay. So
Okay, honesty.
exactly. I loved it. I loved it.
I
And,
respect it.
100%. So we ended up having like a home meet. This is when Villanova used to host a meet called the Tuppeny Twilight Meet. They don't have it anymore, but it was like a kind of the end of the season for us. And he wanted me to pace the 5K because he knew I was going through a lot. I was struggling. He's like, listen, he's like, just go in and pace 3,000 meters of the 5K. So, right. I'm like, okay, well, like mentally, that kind of took a lot of like the load off of me from like a racing perspective. Yeah, we get through, and I'm just clicking off. I'm like, like he wanted me to run 14:35 or
Mhm.
pace for 14:35, so it's just straight 70s the whole way. So I'm like 70, 440, and I start to get to 3K, and he's like, stay in, stay in. He's like, you're looking good, you're looking good. I'm like, all right, shit, I'm staying in.
Yeah.
So get all the way to like I think he told me at like 400 or 300 to go. He realized that he never entered me into the race because I was just
Oh my
supposed to rabbit. So he's sitting there, he's thinking, holy shit. He's like, this kid who's been struggling is about to run like a 20-second PR. And he's like, and he's not going to be entered in the race. So luckily we it was our own home meet.
Mhm.
So he goes sprinting over to like the timing table, and he's like, I need you to get this kid entered like right now. Like he's got like 200 to go. He's going to run a massive PR. And he got me entered, and that's actually my PR to this day. I'll take that to my grave. And
Wow.
it was just such a wild story. And he and I even talk about it. I think I saw him most recently back in January. A teammate of ours was getting inducted into the Villanova Hall of Fame. So a bunch of us went down and to support him, and I saw Marcus there. We were even still like talking about how like wild that incident was. And but yeah, that was
That's
a good one.
crazy.
I think post collegiately is like a little bit different. I feel like marathoning is such like a deep investment, and it's deeply emotional too. So I
Mhm.
feel like the first marathon that I finished was super, super memorable. I was young and dumb, and the year after college, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out to Twin Cities and like let one rip. Never having done a marathon before, it was like 75 at the start.
Oh my
End up
gosh.
dropping out like halfway, so I got to wait like another year to like do one. And I'm like, you know what, like maybe let's be smart and let's like be kind of conservative about this. So
Mhm.
I end up doing Philly. We're super conservative, and we get like halfway through, and at the time the full and the half ran together,
Mhm.
so everybody peels off for the half. We go halfway, we get to 13.1, and like one of my old high school coaches is there because he lived down in Philly at the time, and he's like, if you're patient, you got a shot. And I'm like, got a shot at what? Like, what are you talking about? And little did I know, everybody pulled off. There's only two guys in front of me,
Oh my god.
and I'm sitting
For
in
the
third
marathon?
for the marathon. I'm
Wow.
sitting in third. So I end up getting passed with literally a mile to go. And I ended up fourth, and I ran like 225. And that is my first marathon I finished. Also my PR that I will take to the grave at this point.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just like when these kind of like unexpected kind of performances like pop up, I think those kind of make for like the most memorable like
Oh, for
stories and things
sure.
like that. Yeah. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. No, I love
So,
those. Those are two great stories. The PR is crazy.
oh yeah.
And your
Yeah.
coach getting you into the event,
Oh no, yeah, it was
like,
so funny. Yeah, and just knowing him too, because like he's so like not scattered, but like he could be like aloof sometimes. So like, oh no,
mhm,
like I forgot to like and, like he's just sprinting over to the finish is so funny.
that
Oh
is so crazy.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it. 2
Yeah.
PRs taken to the grave.
Yep, exactly. I'm not running any faster anytime soon, I'll tell you that much.
Listen, I feel that, and I'm like, it's not worth it.
No, not worth it
Not
physically
worth it.
or mentally or emotionally at this point
No, it's
and where I'm at, so.
yeah. No, and I respect, like, your outlook on that, having had the running career you had. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people kinda go and go and go and go until they legitimately cannot go anymore, like, because of
It's kinda where I'm at
injury or
physically, but
I mean, but you know what I mean.
no, I know.
But you have a good
Yeah.
attitude.
I'm trying
People
I'm
aren't like you.
yeah, no, I'm trying to do a better job with it. I think it is hard, when you get to this kind of stage where it's basically been since, like, 16 since I've had, like, a really honest, like, marathon buildup. So, I mean, you're looking at, like, 8 or 9
Mhm.
years at this point where, we get people in the shop all the time. They're like, "Hey, when are you racing next?" I'm like, "I haven't laced up in, like, almost a decade. I think I'm good." But it's just been, like, physical part and then just the emotional toll too. I think,
Mhm.
one of those things, like, I don't know. I mean, people do it and they do it successfully. I think it's really hard to go from, like, being in that, like, hyper competitive mode, be it high school and or college, and then even just a little bit so much post collegiately, but like to keep on doing it for like 10 years or 20 years, or
Mhm.
we see some of these masters guys out there that are up into their 60s and 70s that are taking it super serious, which is great, and I'm proud that they do that. But I also, like, there's so many days where I wake up and I'm just like, I don't want to do this to that
Yeah.
level. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to feel like I have to go out and, like, get a track workout in, or I have to go out and do a tempo run. It's like,
Mhm.
no, like,
Yeah.
even like this morning, I was like, I think my body needs like a day to like not do anything. So I just
Mhm.
didn't do anything this morning, so it's
Yeah.
like we've done quite a bit over the last almost 30 years. So
Mhm.
kind of think I've earned the right to be like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
You know
to
what I
just
mean?
say,
Like,
"Screw it, I'm not doing
yeah, I
anything."
think I'm all
No,
right. Yeah.
it really is such a weird space to be in, like, I'm kind of hitting a point where I'm like, "Okay, I need a serious break from
Hmm.
marathoning in itself." Like,
Hmm.
I think I'm not saying, like, I won't run or I won't race again, but I'm just like, it'll either be for fun
Hmm.
or I need something different.
Sure.
Like, I find myself, like, craving something different or something
Hmm.
new, and then, to your point, I mean, I still have days where I'm like, "I really would prefer to not do this,"
Yeah. Yeah.
like, all week last week, and then
Sure.
I hit Sunday and I was like, "Okay, I got that stuff done," but now I'm like, I will happily sit on the couch
Right.
and
Right. Right.
not even, like, open my computer and just, like,
Yeah.
relax for a
Completely
day.
vegetate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's necessary.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned, like, that running has given you so much,
Hmm.
right? And is there or are there any ways that running has impacted your life outside of competition? You can say the obvious health benefits, but
Sure, which I could be
yeah,
argued either direction in
I
this at
mean,
this point in my
that's
life.
true
So,
for everyone.
yeah, for everyone. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know where I begin. Right? I think, like, it's given me so many relationships, so
Mhm,
many, like, the important relationships in my life have been built through running. I met my wife through running. I met my closest, like, best friends through running. Obviously, we're sitting here and there's all these shoes behind me, right? Like, so day to day, I'm working within running.
mhm,
Um, I think it really has given me, like, a sense of, like, purpose, and not so much from, like, a me getting out the door every day and trying to race or run or do that for myself, but more like build a community where people can then have their own relationships with running.
mm,
I think for me, like, I was super inspired by when I grew up and I was going into Miles Ahead down the shore here, and, like, nothing but love and respect for those guys. They're kind of like the OGs in our area when it comes to specialty running stores.
mhm,
They're down in, like, the Seagirt, like, Manasquan Wall area. I think I was, like, super inspired by memories of going in there, like, after dual meets and cross country, and, like, to get track spikes and things like that. And you kind of you would walk in there and you would be the rock star, right? Like,
mhm,
and I kind of wanted to give that, like, or create an environment where that was the case now. I mean, we still, like, it kind of sounds geeky and kind of, like, not weird, I guess, but, like, we get super excited when, like, some of the best, like, high school athletes, like, come into the shop, and, like, we get to know
mhm,
them through running and things like that, and just kind of give them a little bit of the spot. Like, I think that that's stuff that, like, gets us super excited. So yeah, I mean, not only has it given me like my profession and what I do from a daily basis, and like, no offense to the 9 to 5ers, I sometimes wish that that was the situation that I was in on certain
Yeah,
days, to be fully honest. But other
of course.
days, I wouldn't trade it for the world. But
Hmm.
so yeah, I mean, between my profession, the relationships that I built, it really has given me quite a bit, in my life. So
That's awesome. And I know you touched on it a little bit, but what inspired you to turn that passion for running into, a business by
yeah,
opening the Outpost? Did you go to school for business?
no, I went to
Oh,
school for
wow.
communications. Yeah,
Okay.
so
I mean,
it's
you're
like,
you're doing that well too. So
well, I appreciate that, and I feel like that's why people always ask, they're like, "Oh, what did you go to school for?" I'm like, "Communications." No idea how it got me to like own a shoe store and sell shoes, but
yeah.
I have to be able to like understand people and
Hmm.
empathize with people and kind of see where they're coming from, and communicate with them, obviously, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I think for me, it was always like a thought in my head. Even I go back to the days when I was trying to figure out like where I was going to college and stuff like that. It was never like, oh, I'm going to go to college to own a running store, but it was
Hmm.
more of like, hey, let's try to like have that in the back of the mind, right? In terms of like, well, I remember having conversations with my father, and I think it was just one of those things where like, yeah, I like running, having a running store would be cool, like something like that. But it always just kind of stuck with me.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I think, you know, for me, I always kind of talk about it as like, it's just the next like chapter in my relationship with running where,
Hmm.
I can't still be as competitive as I once was, or do I really want to be that competitive as I once was? So to me, it's just kind of like a natural progression in my relationship with running. And yeah, I mean, after I got out of college, I had a couple shitty desk jobs that I didn't really weren't super passionate about.
Hmm.
Um, and then when I was 26 or 27, I co-owned a store for about 12 or 13 years. So when we opened up here last summer, it wasn't with a lack of experience by any stretch of the imagination. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I had a shop before this for a good dozen years, and then yeah, we kind of evolved into what the Outpost is today. But yeah, I always just kind of look at it as like, it's just kind of like the evolution of my relationship with running, and it's a way for me to stay involved too with the community and the running
For
community.
sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
you guys do a
nothing.
lot. You do a ton.
I'm
Like, do
tired.
you
I'm
I know.
tired.
I know when you messaged me the other day and you're like, "I need a breather." I'm like, "Yup."
Yeah,
Yup.
like, I'm getting my ass handed to me here. Yeah.
I love it. And I'm gonna shout out the Royal Relays really quick before
Oh, she said,
you
"Thank
talk
you."
about
Thank
all
you.
the fun teams you support and all the events you put on, because
Mhm,
that was so much fun. When we first started chatting on Instagram, I was like,
mhm.
I need to do more stuff in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And that was like my first unsanctioned
Mhm.
that was my first relay ever. I've never done that
Sure.
in my life. It was so fun.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
But you guys did an awesome job for
Thank
real.
you. Yeah,
It
no, it
was
was, I was very nervous, if you couldn't tell, because it was definitely, like, our first, like, kinda unsanctioned-y kind of event,
mhm,
and, I'm, like, always just waiting for the other shoe to drop when we do stuff like that, even when
yeah,
we do, like, group runs. But then I started to process it, and I'm like, "Well," I'm like, "what's safer here?" Like, we have 150 people that just show up for a big group run and just send them down the road altogether,
right.
or if we break it up into heats and there's 4 people per team, so I'm sending like 15 people down the road at one time. Like, I think that's
Mhm.
kind of safer. So that's like kind of like my internal monologue as I was
Yeah.
doing all that. But no, thank you for the kind words and for participating. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now it's just like, well,
So fun.
how do we match it and how do we do it better?
I know.
So
I think you need to, like,
that's always
do
the challenge.
something of the sorts every year now because people are
Yeah.
gonna look forward to it. I
Oh,
mean, I
definitely.
I
Yeah.
am, of
Yeah.
course.
No, it should be cool. It should be a continuous thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
definitely. And I guess outside of that, like, what
mhm.
teams you support? Like, what types of events do you like to put
Yeah.
on?
No,
Or
definitely.
support, in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, like, it's twofold. I mean, we're obviously like super invested in high school. I
Mhm.
think for me, like that, and a lot of us here, that's just where we first fell in love with the sport. So like, and even like the vendors that we work with, like a lot of people that work for those brands, that's where they kind of fell in love with the sport. So they're super passionate about that side of the sport. So yeah, I mean, for us, like, it's big with spike nights or spike events. Like, we got a van that we literally pack up and we drive around to different schools and stuff
So
like
fun.
that and practice. Yeah, it's cool. I'm looking forward to the summer too, because cross country, like track's a lot of fun, obviously, but cross country has like a distance runner, like that's like where it's at,
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
we're super stoked that summer's coming up to do all those different events and things like that with the high schools. And then conversely, like we work with a lot of the different local running clubs, right? So obviously, I mean, I'm sure as you have, bear witness to with being more up in the city, like the run club scene is insanity. I mean, we're not nearly as saturated down here as opposed to like New York City or things like that, but like what we kind of try to do is really like be a welcoming space for all clubs, as opposed to like having our own, right, per se. Like we have like group runs, we do things like that, but like we don't have like an official like Outpost Racing Club or Outpost like Run Club. I'd rather like kind of be almost like the destination or like the center for all those clubs where they can all feel welcome and everybody's cool with each other. Everybody kind of has their own like not territory, it sounds very weird, but
like they run in the same spots,
yeah,
right?
the same
Like that's how
spots.
it is in New York.
Yeah, people are like local to those areas, they kind of join up for those runs and stuff. So but yeah, that's also like a huge part of what we do too.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that. I was talking to my sister about this after we left the relay. We're like, it was such good vibes at the
Sure. Yeah,
Outpost.
yeah,
For everybody listening, I'm not even just saying that because you're on the pod. Seriously, such good vibes.
Thank you.
I live kind of far, but every time I am intentional and I'm like, okay, I'll go to the Outpost, I'll go to Rook, I'll go to the beach, I'll do my
Right.
run. Although last time I came in, I think post run, which is disgusting, but it's fine.
We get kids after cross country practice. You're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. But no, I think you guys have done such a good job at making it feel so inclusive, and not a knock on other run shops or like other spaces, but I've definitely been in run stores, some majority in other states or New York, whatever, but like where you just immediately are like, no, like the staff is not friendly, the vibe is just off. And that is the total opposite at the Outpost.
I appreciate that.
And I, it seems like that was what you wanted to accomplish. So you're doing great
Yeah.
job.
Oh, thank you. No, I think for us, like it's a big, and having like, 12 or 13 years of owning another shop, like, and learning a lot over those years. Like, I think for us, like one of the biggest things is like, or one of the things that I try to live by is like, you have to like meet people where they are. Right. So it's like, we can't come off as like this super serious or super stuffy or like elite, like running store. You're going to turn so many people off. Like that's just not going to be welcoming. And also I think for us, like taking a step away from running, like, I mean, there's so many people that come into the shop that the first words out of their mouth are, I'm not a runner, but I need good shoes for X, Y, and Z. And if you're building your store just for like elite runners, or just for even just like not taking any shots, but like even just building it for just like a run club demographic, you're not
it's not
gonna last. You're not gonna last. Like a large part of what we do in our industry, and if you talk to like any of the big time like run specialty shops, a lot of it's medical. Like you need to be able to provide the service when someone comes in from a PT referral and they're, a 70-year-old man or woman and they have plantar fasciitis. They don't care how fast you just ran your last 5K. Like they're just looking for a good pair of shoes, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be like open and welcoming to everybody that because I mean retail is not easy. Is not easy. So it's like if you really kind of refine your niche like too much, like you're it's not going to be a long a long journey. So
no, for sure. And I also, side note, like I love that it's the Outpost Running and Walking Co. Right, to your point, I think a lot of people just see a running store and they're like, oh well, I'm not a runner, so I don't belong in there, or I'm not going to go in there. But then to your point, it's like maybe they got a referral from PT, or maybe they have plantar fasciitis, or maybe they have some other injury, even if they are a runner, right? And they need a specific pair of shoes. Like they're going to go to a store like that. But I feel like you guys being so inclusive with that title, it goes a long way in a space that can I don't want to say exclusive, like that can be exclusive, but it
Mhm.
might feel exclusive to some.
It can be intimidating, definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it was very when we had the opportunity to open this last summer. That was very deliberate in adding
Hmm.
the walking component to it. Just knowing that so many people would come in and they had no interest in running. It wasn't even like
Right.
people that I would qualify, not to say like I'm the be all end all in terms of qualifying runners, like we're not here to gatekeep, but like we would always get people in there like, I'm not a runner, but I run 3 or 4 times a week, 3 or 4 miles at a time. I'm like, I don't know, you sound like a runner to me. You sound like
Yeah.
you just don't want to identify as one, which is totally fine.
You also
These
still need shoes.
You also still need shoes, but these are literally people that just aren't running at all, have no interest in running,
Right.
and they're on their feet all day at Home Depot, or
Hmm.
they're just doing things for work where they need good like it was so much more than that. It's so much more than that, and you can't in the landscape of retail in 2025, you can't really afford to exclude anybody. To be fully
No,
honest,
truly. I
So
know.
yeah,
Yeah, it's funny that you said that. My mom like worked in retail her whole life. She's
hmm
retired now. And I used to be the checkout girl at the supermarket
hmm
because
hmm
it was like one of those like little dream where I'm like, how fun would it be? You know, I'm a little kid and you're like,
yeah,
I have a fake cash register. And what if I got to like scan things for real? So when I was like 15, that was my first real job. And my mom would always be like, you have to get good shoes.
yeah. You're
Like
on
you're
your
going to
feet,
be standing at the register all day. And I'm like, Mom, it's fine. I'm 15.
yeah.
Everything will be fine. And now I
Right,
wish I listened to her because I'm
right.
like, damn, my feet hurt if I
Uh
stand,
huh.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's funny. It's a crazy space to be
yeah.
in, but you guys do it well. Was there ever a moment that you've had over the past year since opening that you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, this is where like I'm supposed to be or this is where we're supposed to be with the outpost?"
hmm Yeah, I mean, I think I think there's been a number of moments. I think obviously there's been ups and downs, right? Like anything
Mhm.
naturally. I think I've learned a lot about I think I've learned a lot about myself over the last year and a half. I think I've learned a lot about the people that are around me and that support me, and kind of almost like my inner circle, for lack of a better term, over the
Mhm.
last year and a half. But yeah, I mean, I think even just as like recent as 2 weeks ago, we were doing some custom singlets for some high school kids for the
Mhm.
upcoming New Balance Outdoor Nationals. We partnered up with a bunch of like local schools. There was some pretty good work that we put into it to like customize these things and get sizes and all sorts of stuff. Really kind of hype it up for the kids and make it exciting for them. We did this like presentation ceremony, so we had like I don't know, there was like 20, 25 kids in the store, and everything was like boxed up and presenting them with these boxes that included their singlets and some giveaways and some swag from New Balance and stuff. And um, so everybody had their boxes, right? And we're just like, all right, guys, like go for it. And they start ripping open stuff. And
Oh.
like parents and other people around me, like adults, were like taking out their cameras and like taking pictures and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put my phone down. And like I'm
Mhm.
getting choked up even just talking about it. Like I'm
Mhm.
gonna put my phone down. And I know it's something small, but it meant a lot to me. I'm like gonna put my phone down and I'm just gonna take this in. Because
Mhm.
this is why I started this. This is why I started down this road.
Mhm.
And yeah, you can see I'm getting choked up a little
I
bit,
know.
but I
No,
think
it's
to me
good.
it's like this is back to when I was a kid, and like, you know, you were in a space where like you were the rock star, for lack of a better term, like, and
Mhm.
you were treated as such, and in a sport that doesn't really get it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
we as runners, as competitive student athletes in track and field, like it doesn't get the notoriety that it should. And these are
Agreed.
really
Yeah.
good quality kids and really accomplished kids that go on to do some amazing things, and like I said, I owned a shop for 12 or 13 years before this. So like there's kids that I have fit that are now in their 30s, and I'm like, and
Yeah.
I'm only 41. I'm like, shit, that's kind of scary to me. But
Yeah.
so they go on and do some amazing things, in college from an athletic standpoint, and then professionally after that. So yeah, I mean, to your question, like, yeah, just most recently, like having that very small and brief interaction, I was like, you know what? Let me just take this in. Yeah, that was definitely a meaningful moment, just most recently. So yeah,
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's really
yeah, yeah, yeah.
special. And it is true. Like sometimes you have to put your phone down and kind of soak it in,
hmm
right? And just be present and soak in all of the hard work that you put into it. And like have that moment of this is why I'm here or this is
Yeah,
why I do what I do.
yeah, and just seeing like the smiles on the kids' faces and just their excitement with stuff, and like them just like reacting to all of it, and them being so hyped. And it was cool. It was a very cool moment. Not to make it about myself, but it was just a very cool moment for me to kind of witness that and just to play a little bit of part in it. And again, like 15 years or 20 years, maybe one of those kids starts a running store themselves and they're inspired because of their time here or something like that, so
No, for sure. It's funny, I was crying actual tears at the Royal Relays when the last person came through.
Oh my God,
that was
another one I'm gonna start
Craig,
to cry
I was
about.
like, I know I was watching you and Grace watch him, and then also simultaneously like watch everybody just go absolutely batshit crazy. And I was like, holy shit, like this is, you created this crazy, awesome community that so many people showed up, like for themselves, of course, but like they showed up for you guys. And that was really cool to watch.
I appreciate that. I'm getting glassy eyed over here thinking about that moment too. No,
Twice
it's all
I made you
good.
cry on the pod.
I know, in the span of 5 minutes, but no, I mean, I think just to kind of expand upon that. So the gentleman that was coming in for the final team for the Royal Relays, his name is Rich Edwards, and he's been like an OG since day one at the older shop. He was a guy that when we first started doing group runs there, this was 2012 into 2013, there would be some days it would be just me and him. And that was the only people that were showing up. And yeah, he's stuck with us through everything, and he's become a super close friend with everybody here at the shop. And he's kind of like a pseudo employee. Some days he'll just walk in and just go to the back room and grab his shoes because he knows exactly where his 10.5 Hoka Cliftons are. But yeah, I mean, just like I had said that night, just like super genuine guy, super passionate about running, obviously, but even more importantly, just a very supportive person to his friends. And yeah, I mean, kind of, obviously not to get too totally into it, but just kind of this transitionary period over the last like year or so, like has been nothing but very gracious. We're there for each other, between myself, Grace, him, and kind of the little crew that we had over there. So yeah.
No, it was awesome to watch.
Thank you.
And
it
thank
was
you
a lot
again
of fun
for putting on that awesome event. It was cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. No, thanks for coming down. It was awesome. It was such a fun time. We can't wait to do another one. So
yeah, I'll be there. Okay, hopefully this last question, and then we're gonna do some rapid fire if you still have time.
Good.
I would love to.
I got nothing. I'm good.
Some of them might not pertain since you're not really running right now, but I guess you can pretend.
Yeah.
But is there a dream guest that you would love to see walk into the Outpost? Could be anyone.
Whew. That's a hard one.
Sorry again.
Yeah,
I'm asking all the hard questions. I was trying to make it not sad.
Yeah, no. As you can tell, I'm a deeply emotional person.
I mean, me too. So it's all good. You're in great company here on the Allie G show.
Man, like a dream guest, like someone that
like anybody would walk in.
Yeah, like real or just like totally not ever gonna happen. Like someone that I would like, that I have helped and that I would love to like spend time with, or like just like totally.
I mean, could be either. I'll leave that up to you. Yeah.
I mean, I think like just like the shoe geek in me, I think like having an opportunity to spend time with like a Phil Knight or something like that, like I think would be unbelievable just to like sit and get that kind of story. I don't know if anybody's like read or listened to Shoe Dog, but it's a huge it's an amazing book, and it's an amazing story about how he was basically selling shoes out of the back of his car, and that's kind of how Nike started. But in terms of like a reality situation, like I mean, to me, like someone that I've looked up to over the last 15 years or so, and I got to give him a shout out, but his name is Dean Shantz, and he's been a huge mentor to myself, and he actually started the first running specialty store in New Jersey back in the late 70s. Wow. And so his store was called Sneaker Factory. So he had gotten out of that in 2006, and he had worked I believe it was 2006, and he'd worked in kind of as like a consultant for them for a number of years. And then the day that his contract ended with them and his kind of, dealings were done, he started working with me at at my old shop. That was probably 2014 or so, and he stayed on all the way through COVID.
Wow.
He's an older gentleman now. I want to say he's probably 77 or so, 78 maybe. But he still comes in, him and his wife,
Aw.
Betty, and anybody that, is running that is of around that age or younger, like they know him, like he's kind of the Pied Piper.
I love that.
So he's a dream fit, even though we know him, so it's not like a total pie in the sky dream. But yeah, he's been super influential. We actually have a photo of me and him hanging up on the wall at the shop. Everybody thinks he's my dad. He's like, "Oh, is that you and your father?" Funny. I'm like, "No, but he's got a couple years of my dad, but not too many." But yeah, just a good mentor and someone that we try to resemble in terms of, either people that are like, "Oh, he fit me 30 years ago," right? And you hope that that's the case, right? Because that's kind of your legacy at that point. So
yeah, for sure. No, well, thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
I so appreciate it. Should we do some rapid fire?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm on the hot seat. Let's go.
Let's go for it. All right. Coffee before a run, yes or no?
No, I'm on decaf kick too. So
Respect.
yeah, I'm on a decaf thing for the last like 2 years. So
Wow.
I'm not here to brag about it, but
I mean, you should brag about it because I could never do that. I would be dead.
It was one of those things. I was like just going through some stuff physically, emotionally, and I was having like some chest heart stuff. So I was like, what's probably not good is like
Caffeine.
Probably drinking caffeine,
Yeah.
most likely on an empty stomach too. So, but yeah, no, I'm a big coffee person. Huge Americano fan.
Yes.
More recently, I've slid over a little bit more into that cortado kind of phase in my life, where it's like it's not a lot, but it's like intense.
Just a little.
Yeah.
And it's good if it comes in the actual cortado cup.
Exactly. That they know what they're doing when it comes in the small cup.
If it comes in a latte size cup, it's not
game over.
Be good.
It's not going to be good. Yeah.
Respect.
If
you run out of cups, it's one thing, but
right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Different conversation.
That's right. Okay. What shoes are you running in right now? / what would you be running in right now if you were like in a running era?
Yeah. So good question. I got a good rotation. Obviously, I have resources, own a lot of shoes.
You don't say.
Own a lot of shoes. None of them are, or not none of them, I should say the majority of them aren't my own size, as you can see behind me. But no, right now I've been putting on the Vomeros a lot from Nike. I've been liking that. I think it's done really well in store. Not to get like too totally kind of geeked out on it.
Geek out.
Geek
I
out.
Love the Vomeros.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's just like, I think the biggest thing that people say, it's just like, just comfortable. Like it's not like this like overly plush shoe, so it's got a little bit of feedback or responsiveness, but it's still like enough cushion. Because I think for me at 41, like my bones aren't feeling any younger, so I definitely need some cushion. So that's been a good go-to. Every once in a while, I'll throw on the Super Blast from Asics. I feel like that's a lot of good cushion. So I don't really do the plated stuff too much because everything's kind of broken. So
yeah.
I think when I do, I'll throw on like Vapors or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else is kind of in the rotation. Those are my two daily trainers, and like kind of like a Vapor, something like that for maybe a little faster stuff, but I don't really go that fast these days. So
hey, Vapors are good. Regardless,
right.
Fun. It's a fun shoe.
You can't go wrong.
That's right. Okay, solo runs or group runs?
I would love to say group runs, but I feel like as everybody got older, we either got banged up or had kids. So it's really not that many people for the group runs anymore. But I do a lot of solo running. I basically run by myself. Maybe once every couple of weeks, I'll meet up with one of my really good buddies who we put in a ton of mileage together over the years. But yeah, it seems like that circle and the opportunity to get together gets smaller and smaller as you get
for sure.
older, as people get busy and people get families and, so
definitely.
Yeah, definitely more of a solo guy, but I'm more of like a music podcast fan. So,
okay. Yeah. I love that. What's your go-to song or album or playlist?
So it depends on when you get me. I'm really into I don't know. It was very strange. So I mean, not to get like too totally off track here, but
I mean, this is a podcast about running and music, so
yeah.
you
Well,
can't
I'm
ever.
here for that. So I feel like I got really big or back into like pop punk,
Mhm.
like right around like COVID time, and I think it was one of those things where, and it's interesting because my wife's a therapist, and she was talking to her boss, who's also a therapist, and I guess they were kind of chatting about how a lot of these bands were coming back and doing like live streams and things like that.
Mhm.
And I started to get like back into that music again. And her boss, who's like our friend kind of, she made a very good point. She was like, well, in times of crisis, like people tend to like lean towards things that provide them comfort. And it was
Mhm.
almost like one of these things where it was like, well, this is what I listened to like when I was like a teenager. And there's like
Yeah.
that nostalgia factor behind it. So then like, obviously we were going through everything in 2020 and all these bands were like kind of recirculating because they're all like my age or older. So
Mhm.
they all know now that their fans have got, you know, maybe deeper pockets than when we were 16. So
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, let's do tours. Let's do this. Let's do that. So like, I'm really big into that music again. Yeah. And then it honestly depends. So I'm big into like, Blink or MXPX and like some of
Mhm.
those bands. And then, like more modern day stuff, but still in that category, not pop punk, but like Menzingers or like Spanish love
Mhm.
songs. So like bands like that. And then I'll just go on these wild like Oasis binges and
Every
like,
time, always.
yeah, I don't know what it is. It's so funny. Like Grace, like, and Dana, like, I think sometimes I haven't done it. I don't think recently, but it's coming up because I'm going to their show on Labor Day in the
Love
at Giant
that.
Stadium or whatever it's called. So yeah, I'm sure I'll get back into an Oasis binge here pretty soon.
I hope, side note, I hope that show happens.
I know, I know.
We like get some ticket. We get like an allotted number of tickets per year, and I
Yeah,
put in for 2 of them for that show, and I was like,
yeah.
well, it's in August, right? I think.
So like the last couple days of August
Yeah.
into September.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
like, I'm like, "Oh,
yeah,
it's in August, so I'll have time to, like, get another show if that show never happens." So I'm
yeah.
really hoping that it happens because me and my sister are like, "We have to see Oasis, right?"
Oh yeah. I mean, it
Like,
was it was a wildly irresponsible purchase
I mean,
of
like,
tickets.
whatever, though, you have to.
Is once in a lifetime. Like game,
They're
like it's
I'm convinced this is never gonna happen. They're never gonna
yeah,
reconcile. Like, I think they're only doing this tour filled with hate
yeah,
still, and that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
If you
Oh,
get
totally.
along enough to do a tour,
Yeah,
it's fine with
just
me.
give
But
me like 2.5 hours and we're good. Like
yeah, that's right.
yeah, we're going. I think it's the Monday night show. I also didn't realize it was Labor Day, so I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. Like so, but it'll be a blast. So yeah, I'll
I
be
love it.
I'll be singing my lungs out on that one.
I'll
Yeah.
see you there, hopefully,
Yeah,
if it
hell yeah,
happens.
hell yeah, 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 yeah.
If it happens,
If they stay
fingers
together,
crossed.
if they stay together, I'm sure that the ticket insurance on that tour must have been insane.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
you got the insurance.
I
I mean,
did
you'll get a
not.
refund
I did
anyway if
not.
it
But
doesn't
yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Well, it's good
I
to know
hope.
people, I guess. So
Yeah, that's all right.
yeah,
I'm here to tell you you'll get a refund
right.
if it cancels. I
Yeah, no. Well, it
love
was
it.
funny because we were like, I told my wife Malia, I'm like, listen, if we can get tickets to like Wembley, I'm like,
I
we're gonna
know.
go. I'm like, we're gonna go. And like, I had woken up at it was like 3 o'clock our time, like 3 in the morning our time to like log
Mhm.
in to like
Yeah.
Ticketmaster or whatever. And I was like 100,000th in the queue. I was like,
Mhm.
this is not going to
I
happen.
know.
So I just
I
went back to
know.
sleep. And then like a week or two later, then they announced that they were coming to the US. I was like, oh, well, this is
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah. You had
yeah.
to make the purchase. That's like
Oh,
my
100%.
boss. He was like slacking me and he's like, I'm in the queue for Oasis,
Yeah.
but in London or wherever
Yeah.
they're playing over there. And he was like, if I get an extra ticket, I'll sell you one. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And then
You would
it came
have to
time.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to go. I would have to go.
Right.
I don't know how that actually ended up shaking out, but I'll have to follow up with him if I don't get the New Jersey
Right.
show. But I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more. Are you ready?
Yeah. Let's go.
Most underrated piece of running gear, in your opinion, of
Hmm.
course.
Whew. Underrated piece of running gear. I think I mean, not to get too totally into it, but I think like thermal lined briefs for men.
Love that.
It's game over. I can
I
run in those
mean,
all winter.
yeah, yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
anything thermal lined for women is also
Yeah.
I feel like that would be my choice, like those
Yeah.
really, like, thick
tops
shirts
and
or
stuff.
long
Yeah.
sleeve tops that are
Yeah.
like not freezing.
You know what?
cold.
Also, there used to be. I don't think many brands make them anymore. There was a wind protective underwear for men at one point in time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's okay.
I
I don't
mean,
think
maybe it
many
just
brands.
didn't. Maybe they don't make it anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I haven't seen it in the last like 20 years. So
We could use some of that
if anybody
on the
still
women's
has,
and men's side.
yeah,
If anybody has
I know.
that,
If anybody has it, you probably need to throw them out, to be honest.
yeah, that's true. All right. Last but not least,
Yeah.
if you could run with anyone, dead or alive, who
Hmm.
would it be?
Damn.
I know I'm asking all the tough questions. I'm so sorry.
No, that's a good one. I think I mean, I ran with my dad the other day, so I mean that's always meaningful to me. And he's always so funny when we do it, because like we don't run together that often. He's 75, and so we'll be plodding along, and he's like, if I'm holding you up, just go. And I'm like, dude, if I wanted to go, I could go. You know what I mean? Like I don't, and but no, I think like going for a run with like my old college coach, I think is probably like would be something that would be great.
Love it.
He would run with us sometimes. He was like mid 40s back when I was there, still fit as all hell back then. But yeah, I think just getting the opportunity to get some miles in with Marcus again would be something that I would cherish. So
I love that.
yeah.
Well, Craig, thank you so much for doing
Yeah.
this.
No,
and for
thank
being
you, Allie.
here. Thank you for sharing all the great stories.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, you're doing great stuff. Keep up the work with the pod. I know how hard it could be. So yeah, I wish you all the best with it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
I loved this track so much because, well, for the first reason is because Craig and I have been trying to record this podcast for so long, and we finally had the chance to catch up. And I've been following along with the Outpost for a while, and they're just such an awesome team and group of people, and they put on the greatest events. So definitely check them out. But truly one of my favorite tracks so far. It was so inspiring and so honest, and I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it too. So if you did, of course, follow along with the Outpost on Instagram. I will absolutely link them in the show notes below, and follow along with the pod at _Allie G show for updates and new track drops. Thanks again for listening.